The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'm joined by Clinton Yates, Brian Windhorst.
That was a promo.
It was great.
I liked it.
Our ESPN Rise unit was responsible for that, and it was fantastic. And the game should be fantastic tonight. So that got us thinking. If you were going to start a franchise, right, build around either Luka or Zion, who would be your pick? Clinton, you're on the spot. Go.
To me, it's Luka, and there's not a lot of questions asked, and unfortunately, it's injury-related. I just think that when you're talking about a player like Zion, and there's so many risks, we just got through discussing. Are you going to play this guy on the back end of the back-to-back?
He turned his ankle twice this year and missed time for it.
Turned his ankle is a completely different thing than major knee operations, in my opinion. There was no such thing as teaching him how to walk again, which was something we heard earlier in the season. And overall, I think at this stage, Luka is a better player. I just find them to be a little bit more dynamic in terms of the way that he includes teammates, in terms of the scoring ability. Zion can do a lot of things. Luka can do a few more, in my opinion. I'd like that better.
This is so hard. First off, Zion is 2 years younger than Luka.
Yep.
So you have to understand, just don't compare them today. Compare where Zion would be in 2 years and think about how much he's going to learn about it. I am more excited about Zion than pretty much any players come in the NBA in the last 15 years. So it's very difficult for me to pick against him. But considering that Luka is a perimeter player and with the injuries, I would probably go with Luka, but I don't like saying that.
This
probably
is a 1A,
should just
1B.
not care and hot take it and say, Zion! But I guess I'll have to let my head win out over my heart. But
Look, it's hard. The truth is there's no, quote, right answer because we just don't know how the
we
next
invented
5
the
to
question.
10
That's why.
years are going to fill out. I think it's a really good question because it doesn't have an automatic answer. My only concern is not like, oh, you saying Doncic over Zion. I think that's completely valid if that's the side you're taking. I guess I just hate seeing guys given that injury tag. Because I looked at, say, Anthony Davis, right? Who people still say, man, he's injury prone. He had specific injuries early in his career, but if you look at the number of games he's played, for the entire second half of his career, he's not injury prone. But those things stick with guys in a way that I just don't like it early in
We're talking
their
about
career.
the unknown. We're talking about the unknown on both of these. So you try to limit what you can predict, which that's best you can do.
Age as much as anything. When I see a full NBA season from Zion, I think it'll be a better predictor of what he's going to be able to do.
Zion is, by the way, he is only 19, as Brian pointed out. He's the 4th youngest player in the entire NBA. So to do what he is doing at this age is bananas.
Yes.
What Luka is able to do, also bananas. And when we think about this whole class, right, about these couple years in the draft, we talk about Luka, we talk about Zion, we talk about Jason Tatum, we talk about Trae Young, we talk about the 5th person I'm forgetting, John Moran, of course, who's going to be the presumptive rookie of the year. I mean, it's an insane group. And when you look back, we have these clumps, right? The LeBron clump, you've got the Tim Duncan clump. I mean, there's just clumps of guys.
The LeBron clump is famous.
Right? The banana clump. So there you go. I think the NBA is in really good hands. It's really fun to watch these kids develop.
Clump life.
I want to move on to the Player of the Month awards for February. I want Clump Life t-shirts. In the Western Conference, LeBron James won the award after averaging 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists per game while leading the Lakers to an 8-2 record in the games he played. There was some dispute, though, whether Russell Westbrook should have been considered. Westbrook went beast mode in February, averaging 33 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists per game while leading the Rockets to a 7-1 record in games he played. He also shot 55% from the field. But wait, there's more, because in the Eastern Conference, Jason Tatum took home the award. He became the 5th Celtic ever. This isn't a pretty historic franchise that, you know, is okay. He became the 5th Celtic ever to average more than 30 in a month. Havlicek, Bird, Pierce, Isaiah Thomas are the others. But Tatum's main competition in the East was Giannis. Giannis had won 7 of the 8 previous Player of the Month awards dating back to last season, and he averaged, I don't know, casual 28, 17 boards while going
Good God, look at those stats.
9-0 in games he played. And by the way, he played like 2 minutes a game. He gets these stats, and they're ahead by like 13 or 15, and then he sits the rest of the game, and it's bonkers.
This is the problem with the MVP thing. LeBron's year has been amazing, but Giannis's stats are absolutely preposterous.
All right, let's stay in the conversation. Player of the
28
Month.
and 17.
Right. So who do you think was snubbed more in his respective conference, Westbrook or Giannis?
I'm happy that for the second straight month we were actually talking about controversy with Player of the Month because Lillard, we all thought got passed over in January.
The regular season matters, Brian. I'm going to keep saying
I give it to Jason Tatum because he hasn't had a chance to win it. and Giannis keeps winning it. I don't think Giannis really cares. Let
There's
Tatum have it.
one less player.
That's what we're doing here? We're just handing out awards?
Yes,
because guys
yes,
want
Clinton, that's what I'm
participation?
saying. That's
I'm
what
not
saying.
comparing Celtics to other Celtics, Rachel. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? I'm comparing them to the guys they're playing against. And when you're 9-0,
Yes.
averaging 17 boards, and you're just
Again,
I'm sorry.
he's
This was
playing
clearly Giannis's award.
I
for me.
think the bigger difficulty is with Westbrook versus LeBron. The Lakers are playing their best ball of the year.
Yes.
But one thing I will say is that the Rockets and Lakers did play in February, and the Rockets won that game. So I kind of wonder if that shouldn't have played some role. Although this is a very opaque award. We are not told who is on the committee.
I've been asked
choose.
who chooses this. So the league office chooses it, by the way. So
What
first
does
people
that
should
mean?
So
know.
this is
Well, no, no,
right.
but
The office chooses
Right
the
for
lunch menu
conspiracy.
today. I mean, what does the league office mean?
People should know, first of all, Tim Frank's going to be calling your phone
I was
during
gonna
the
say,
segment.
I'm
by
not taking the
saying
call.
that.
I'm not taking it.
Some people think that other players, right, pick this award. Some people have asked me if the media picks this award. This award is handed out by the league office, and as you note, we don't know who makes the decision. But maybe we could have him on, and then
I think it's only like the 35th time LeBron's won it, so
Only?
I'm sure it'll be nicely placed in his trophy case.
there you go. Do you get a trophy?
You do. I
Or
think
do
you get a nice
piece of
little
paper?
glass trophy. It's a nice little glass trophy. It used
Oh,
to
like
be.
a little, like a little.
Yeah.
Like a paperweight? Re-gifted?
Speaking of the Lakers, they beat the Sixers last night, and their dynamic duo was in effect once again. LeBron, 14 assists, 3 of which went to AD. Anthony Davis just beasted out there, 37 points, 13 rebounds, and after the game, LeBron sung the praises of playing with Anthony Davis. Quote, "It's everything I expected and more, guys." He said, obviously, that's why I wanted him here. When you get a generational talent like that and you get an opportunity to go get him, you just try to do whatever you can. Brian, what do you make of not just how they look on the court, but the off-the-court relationship between these guys?
I've never seen LeBron so invested in a teammate's happiness and success as I have with this season.
You don't think he was as invested in Dwayne Wade being successful?
No, absolutely not. He has totally changed his approach to the game to make sure Anthony Davis is happy. And I think part of it is he wants the Lakers to be successful. I think part of it is it's not a guarantee that he's re-signing. I know that it was almost assumed, but I think
Just to clarify, Anthony Davis resigned.
Yes.
yes, and with Chris Bosh and with Kevin Love, it was a rough go their first years. Now Love had an opportunity to not re-sign, but he did.
Yeah. Remember
But-
the famous pool meeting between
yes, but
Kevin Love and LeBron?
LeBron has been very, very, very focused on making AD comfortable and happy. Having said all that, their chemistry in March doesn't matter as much as their chemistry in May. They're going to need Anthony Davis to be great in May for them to get where they want to go.
Yeah, but let's think about overall where the Lakers were last March in terms of where they are now. He had to make sure that the AD situation was worked out well because we're finally seeing, if you're a Lakers fan, you're pumped up. Planet LeBron and Laker Nation are in step in a way that they have not been and were not up until this point. It's the best case scenario. I mean, when we all thought that this was going to work, this is what we were looking at. And it's actually finally happened. And I think that you're right. AD re-signing, considering what he walked into with the mess that was that franchise, there was no guarantee. LeBron's making sure that does not go wrong. And it's showing on the court as well as anywhere else, which is what's important.
I think it's fascinating how we watch LeBron tweak all the parts of his game that people have criticized, right? So early on, his shooting isn't good. We saw that go to the disaster point during a certain NBA Finals against Dallas. Look, we had earlier in the segment, we're talking about him
Logo
shooting
LeBron.
from the logo, right? One of the big criticisms about him was how he treated or talked to teammates, right? The text messages, the fit in, the fit out, the this, that, and the other. You mentioned Kevin Love and Chris Bosh, right? And then the narrative was people didn't want to play with LeBron. You had Kyrie Irving asking for a trade. Kawhi Leonard supposedly didn't want to play with LeBron. Kevin Durant
Paul
supposedly
George
didn't
could
want
have
to go
signed with
play
the
for
Lakers.
LeBron.
Didn't.
Paul George didn't sign with the Lakers. Well, he went out, recruited Anthony Davis. Make no mistake about that, right? The Lakers make that trade. He makes Anthony Davis comfortable in every way possible. And what he has done, not just for AD, but for the rest of that locker room this year, as we have talked about, has been so pointed. So you can say, hey, he's just doing it because he wants him to resign, which I know wasn't your point, but there's people who've been criticizing for that. But the bottom line is he has continued to evolve in a way where you had a guy who's one of the most dominant players ever, who has taken the parts of his game, the small parts that people found issue with, and looked and worked on ways to fix it. And he's done that here with Anthony Davis. I'm impressed.
And it's worked.
Coming up, the Clippers put the clamps on OKC last night. Clumps and clamps in the show. Holding them under 100 points. Do you buy their ability to flip the switch on defense? We will discuss that next on The Jump.
This right here is the new papadilla, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Latin for better than a sandwich. Even has a better pickle.